Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the long-awaited and long-asked-for crystal farming guide, especially because I saw that no one has done one in like 2 years. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it myself. And this video will go in depth in all end-game modes, in permanent and temporary sources of crystals. Please take into account that Honkai Impact 3rd crystal farming isn't as straightforward as it might be in Genshin or Star Rail, especially because the game is almost 10 years old, so there is 10 years worth of content to do. And on top of that, since I'm an active player, I don't have either the beginner nor the returnee event active. So I just have to mention it here that if you are a beginner player or you're a returnee, you will get a event for the fact that you're either a new player or you're coming back. I don't have access to those, so I can't show them to you, but take that into account. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helps you out. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe to support my channel and my work. I appreciate it a lot. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you at the end. Bye bye. Okay, so firstly, let's start with the daily missions. The daily missions are, by the way, they purposely made them much simpler like a couple of patches ago, so they're very easy to do. And here you can see them. I'll claim them. Daily from, you get from dailies 40 crystals, which is 1/7 of a single pull. So next is the battle pass. I'm just gonna mention it, but the F2P battle pass gives a little less than 2 pulls, and then the paid battle passes don't even give a 10 pull. But again, people don't really buy the battle pass for the crystals. They usually buy it for other types of materials. I'll next. You've probably noticed it. You get this screen automatically when you log in, but this is basically this is like the Hoyo Lab version of logging in. It's just automatically in game, and I think you can get up to 400 crystals a month. On top of that, if you are a returnee, you can use another person's code, so you'll get special missions, and after you complete those missions, you will get crystals, and the person's code who you also used will get the crystals. I'll cover up my code because it's been used the maximum amount of times, thank you. But you can find people's codes on like Hoyo Lab or Twitter. There's a lot of people that post their code, so you can use their code if you're a returnee, and both of you get crystals. If you're an armada or a clan, good luck finding an active one, because I don't think those exist anymore. You can get 25 crystals per week. What can you do? 25 crystals, I mean, I still have to mention it. And then it's if you go to dorm and you go to errands, there's a chance that you can get an S plus errand. S plus errands give you 5 packs of crystals. Each pack gives 5 crystals. So if you're lucky enough, and they are rare, to get an S plus commission, you will get 25 crystals. And that's it. And the next, before I go into the endgame modes, I will mention one of them, which is Memorial Arena. But Memorial Arena is an endgame mode that's not really made for the crystals, unlike Abyss and Elysian Realm, which we'll talk about next. Memorial Arena is more so an endgame competitive mode, so you can show off your rotations and your gears or whatever, right? It's basically a flex who can get a higher score, that's it. It only gives, I think, about 100 crystals per week, and yeah, 100 crystals per week in Exalted, so end game, and another 40 if you manage to do the 2 SSS bosses on the highest difficulty. Here you can get 20, and that's it. Again, this end game mode isn't really for the crystals, it's more so for other stuff like these are for rerolling affixes, which is an end game thing, but eventually you will want to get better affixes, so I do suggest you do Memorial Arena just to do it. You don't even have to get like a high score, but just to get the base rewards, as well as some Ancient Legacy and Ancient Willpower, which then you can use to farm older characters. I would suggest that you do it anyway for the other bonus rewards. Okay, so now we get into basically the most important part of the game, not just for farming crystals, but in general, and that is Abyss and Elysian Realm. It's called, in endgame, it's called Superstring Dimension. In midgame, I think it's called Q Manifold. The outline of the Abyss is a bit different. for mid game, but you still have ranks, you still have indirect PvP where you're put in a bracket with 19 other players that have the same rank as you. The higher score you get, the higher you are on the leaderboard. If you're in the top 3 slots, you get 100 trophies, and the more trophies you get, the higher rank you're gonna have. You don't get the same amount of crystals for every rank. If you do all 3 stages, excluding the boss stage, you get a bonus 100 crystals. If you are a newer player, you actually are going to get to Exalted pretty fast, which is level 81. I do suggest you break through, because even if you're able to only go to like lower ranks, Agony 1 or 2, it is still more beneficial for the bonus materials that you get compared to mid-game. So I suggest that you don't wait a lot and just break through as fast as possible. Red Lotus is when it starts to get serious. Like, there is a pretty big jump from Agony to Red Lotus, and there is a insanely big jump from Red Lotus to Nirvana. Forget about Nirvana unless you're willing to spend a lot of money and you're willing to mold over getting 10 more points. Otherwise, once you get to a certain point in the game where you have like multiple teams, you learn how the mechanics work, you're gonna be in Agony 3 or Red Lotus. Now, the difference between Agony 3 and Red Lotus is literally only 80 crystals. For Agony 3, you get 320. For Red Lotus, you get 400. Remember, another 100 bonus from doing the stages. So, let's say you're in Agony 3, you're going to get 420 per rotation. If you're in Red Lotus, you're going to get 500 per rotation. Abyss resets twice a week, once on Mondays, and it is available Monday through Wednesday, and once on Fridays, and it's available Friday through Sunday. I'm going to be honest, Abyss is by far the biggest source of crystals in this game, but remember that it resets twice a week, and you do need to log in on at least 2 days, Monday through Wednesday and Friday through Sunday, to actually be able to do Abyss. And as I said, like, don't let Abyss scare you. Even if you're a lower rank, Agony 2 or 3, it is genuinely more worth it than being in Q Manifold, because this gives you more crystals and it gives you more rewards even at a lower rank. But I also have to mention that Abyss has gotten more competitive since Part 2 came out, because Part 2 team building is, I don't know if it's easier, but there is more leeway in how you build teams for Part 2. So more people have the required gears, more people have good scores, so it is harder to be competitive than it was during Part 1. But don't let that scare you. I would say break through and go to Exalted Abyss. In the long term, it's definitely worth it. And the second most important endgame mode is Elysian Realm, which gives you up to 500 crystals per week. To access it, you just go to Elysian Realm and you click on Deep Sequence. This UI right here is for a temporary event, as you can see, 30 days. This UI is only part of a temporary event that's here for this patch. After that, it's gonna look like normal, which is this. So Elysian Realm is really similar to Simulated Universe. It's just that you use one character instead of a full team. Each character has 2 builds, and you can choose which build you want to use depending on which signets you end up selecting. If you are struggling and you don't know which build to choose, which signets to choose, I'll gladly encourage you to look for guides on HoYoLab or YouTube. Thankfully, there is a lot of people that do Elysian Realm guides for basically any character released in like the past 3 years. So if you're on the fence and you don't know how to use a character appropriately, you can look for their guide on YouTube or on HoYoLab. I suggest that no matter who you decide to choose to use in Elysian Realm, that should be a Part 2 character, because Part 2 characters do have a higher damage ceiling. Even Coralie, who is an A rank farmable character, is insane in Elysian Realm. My Coralie to this day dealt the most damage I've ever seen in Elysian Realm, which was 1 billion damage. Yeah, not 1 million, 1 billion. As you can tell, Elysian Realm is like a special buffed up mode for the characters, like Simulated Universe. You choose your buffs and you choose your difficulty. To get all the crystal rewards, you need to do at least abstinence. But if you can't do abstinence, even with doing submergence, you only miss out on 50 crystals per week. But to be honest, as I told you, it has nothing like Elysian Realm has nothing to do with Abyss or Memorial Arena or a normal version of the characters. They're literally buffed up, and it has nothing to do with what level you are, how far you are into the game, whether your character is S0 or SSS. It literally has nothing to do with that. It's purposely adjusted so that characters, no matter what rank they are, they'll perform very well, and anyone can complete Elysian Realm. You just need to choose the right build and you'll be fine. Like, again, it doesn't matter. You need to just choose one character. Again, I suggest part 2 character that has like their weapon and stigmas, and you'll be fine. And for doing the higher difficulties, corruption and finality, you only get an emblem bonus, which gives you like 3% more damage. But if you can't do finality or corruption, it's not worth molding just for one emblem that has a temporary duration. Um, Depending on which difficulty you completed last week, a couple of patches ago, they added the option which is called light combat, where you can skip the first 8 floors and just choose the signets, which genuinely makes it much easier. But you remember, you can only use light combat for the same or lower difficulty that you completed last week. And when you do abstinence or higher, you get 500 crystals per week. From Elysian Realm resets on Mondays, 10 a.m. server time. And on top of that, you can get up to 600 crystals for every character that you unlock. Of course, to use characters in Elysian Realm, you actually firstly need to unlock the character. You can't use just any character in the game. And when you go to Quick Start, Shallow Sequence, you'll see the combat modes for every character. This is different from Deep Sequence that resets every week. This Shallow Sequence is a one-time thing where each character that you unlock has 3 special stages that you can complete. When you complete all 3 stages with all the requirements, you get up to 400 crystals for every character, and it is a one-time thing. On top of that, when you use your characters in Elysian Realm, and you'll probably need to use them a lot, you can level up their skills to make them even stronger, like increase their attack, increase their HP, increase the damage that their skills or ultimate do. And if you bring their skill level to 15, which is max, you can get up to 200 crystals for each character. But this will take you a while. To be honest, it's not easy hitting level 15. It requires a lot of materials to level up the characters level 15. So every new character of the patch, you get bonus rewards, obviously. For example, Kiana is the new character of the patch, so it says growth. She gives you more of her materials than usual, because she's a new character of the patch. But yeah, to level up the character's skill to 15, you're gonna need to use them like 4 to 5 times full runs, which takes like 30 minutes for each run. So I wouldn't rely too much on these 200 crystals unless you're like really desperate, because again, it takes a lot of farming. So the next, I guess, time limited source of crystals is the events of the patch. You can access them in the event tab, obviously. It's these 3. So the events in Honkai always follow the same outline. There's one main event of the patch. By the way, look at them. They're so cute. They cannot be separated. They have to be together. But there is one main event of the patch that always introduces a new story. It can be like a revamp of an older event, but the story is always new. And from the main event, you can get usually from the shop 400 to 500 crystals. You get an outfit and some bonus rewards. But to unlock all of the rewards, you kind of do need to grind the event. And you can get some like additional crystals from doing the stages. So like, let's say 400 to 500 from the shop, and another like 100 to 300 from doing the actual event. One thing I have to mention is that events in Honkai Impact cannot be speedrun like in Genshin or Honkai Star Rail. You have to do them consistently for like, depending on how much you play, 10 to 20 days to grind out the daily stage, so you can level up the characters that you use for the event. Because otherwise, if you don't do it in time, You won't be able to level up your characters in the event, you won't be able to finish the harder stages, and you won't be able to unlock all the rewards. The good thing is that the main event of the patch always lasts the whole patch, because the patches currently last 9 weeks. You have 9 weeks to do the event, but again, don't hold them off until like the final 1 week. I suggest doing it at least 3 weeks before the patch ends. Then we have another event of the patch, let's say the second quote unquote main event, which is a rerun of a past event. This time is after the Blood Moon fades. This event was here, I think, like last year, and now it's back again. It's the same story, it's the same outline. Usually there's like a difference in some stages, but overall it's the same. We get another skin this time. You choose which one you want to get, and it gives 300 crystals. The second main event of the patch, which is the rerun of a previous patch, follows the same outline. You have to do it consistently for 10 to 20 days to actually finish the event. You can't speedrun it in 24 hours. So again, don't hold it off. It usually begins midway through the patch and it's available until the patch ends. And then last but not least, this is not really for the crystals, but towards the end of the patch, this time around it started a bit earlier, but usually it's like during the 2 to 3 last weeks of the patch, we get like a combat event. They rotate, every patch is like a different event. It's sometimes hot on the trail, other times it's power duo. This time around it's a special Elysian Realm event where you can much quicker get weekly rewards, so make sure to take advantage of this event, because this event allows you to use one character with already a predetermined build, so you don't even have to bother with the signets. The game chooses the signets for you, and it's only 8 floors instead of 18, which is awesome, and it's much faster to do. I wish it was permanent. I don't know why they do it literally once like every 6 months, but I just have to mention it. It's not, again, it's not the same event every patch. They rotate. Each event is run every couple of months. And for the last source of crystals, I would put the end game the permanent story in the game, which is both the main story and Honkai Impact quote unquote open world. You can go to the story tab to access all chapters ever released in the game. The Moon's origin and finality are chapters 1 up until the end of part 1. Days of Life and Death is part 1.5. Extinguished Starlight and Rekindled Fire are part 2 chapters, and Latest Journey is the new chapter released this patch. Keep in mind that you can always access the new story in the patch that it releases. It doesn't matter where you are. For example, I haven't done any of the previous chapters, but I can access the new chapter this patch temporarily, you see, until the patch ends. The story stages give you permanent rewards. Part 1, like the end of part 1, the finality chapter, as well as part 2, actually have an open world that you can actually explore in and open chests and do, like, you see, you have a map. I haven't done anything, unfortunately. I'm not interested in the open world, but you can actually explore, do weekly stages, do daily stages, and all of them give you crystals. But a lot of the rewards are time gated. Some rewards are permanently available, but most rewards, like these, are permanently available here. You see, these are permanently available, but there are some rewards that are temporary and are only available during the patch when they're released. After that, the rewards are cut down by a lot after that patch ends. This, for example, is permanent, right? So like if you are in need of some crystals, you can actually explore, but getting all the crystals, I actually don't think you can speedrun them in one day. I'm pretty sure you can only do daily stages like 2 or 3 times a day, and you can only do weekly stages like once or twice a week. So again, that's why I'm telling you, this game is not very forgiving. You can't just speedrun everything in one day like you can in Star Rail or Genshin. The game actually requires you to play pretty consistently and pretty actively, as well as to put in effort to get the crystals. It is what it is. If you are interested in playing older events, you can go to the art tab and you can go to Voyage Log, where you can get access to past events. Currently, we only have events released since part 2 came out. They don't give a lot of crystals, but the story is fun. like experiencing the story. So if you're interested in accessing past events, you can do it in the voyage anecdotes. And on top of that, if you go to the right corner, you switch to chronicles. These are permanently available chronicles for a couple of characters that you can do. It's basically like story quests, like in Genshin. They're in stages. Completing each stage gives you a small amount of crystals, but I would suggest doing them because it gives you um, a lot about some characters' backstories. Unfortunately, they haven't done these in like 5 years. But if you are interested in learning more about these characters, you can do the chronicles and get additional crystals on the side. And then, last but not least, besides the permanent story that's available to play, we also have a permanently available side story, or basically the open world. And we have four different worlds, that is Sakura Samsara, Shixel, A Post Honkai Odyssey, and A Post Honkai Odyssey 2. Since I have completed all of them, I can access, enter the world, whatever, any of them whenever I want. But there are these things that are called weekly adventure tasks. You can accept up to 15 of them, and you can only choose one world that you want to accept those tasks in per week. So, for example, this week I chose a post Honkai Odyssey 2. I can only accept tasks here for the rest of the week. Next week, I can choose a different world, however I want. By doing these tasks, you can get crystals, but it is very rare. The biggest point of doing these tasks isn't really like the fragments or the crystals. It's more so like these rewards that you get, that you need to level up basically your characters and increase your progress in the special game modes. I think they go Samsara, then Shixal, then a Post Honkai Odyssey 1, and then 2. I don't know if when you're a beginner player you can access all of them or you have to go one by one. But if you can access all of them and you're not that interested in doing all of them, I would suggest doing a Post Honkai Odyssey 1 and 2 first. Besides completing the main story, which is voiced and it is actually connected to the main story of Honkai Impact, besides getting some additional rewards and getting crystals for doing daily tasks, weekly tasks, doing side tasks, and doing the main available story, you get these keys from completing all these missions, and then you can use those keys in this special supply that's only available for a Post Honkai Odyssey 1 and 2. For a Post Honkai Odyssey 2, when you complete all four phases, you get like 1.2 thousand crystals in total, I think. And for a Post Honkai Odyssey 1, I think you get some equipment banner cards. Yeah, you get you get 9, I think, 9 or 10 equipment supply cards. So yeah, this is a permanently available. The story is permanently available. The rewards are as well. But again, just like everything else, it is grindy. You can't do it at once. It will take you a while. But it is a voice story. It is connected to the main story, and it is incorporated well, where you can do daily and weekly tasks while doing the story itself. It does offer good amount of crystals as well as some additional supply cards. So make sure to do these actively while you're also playing the game. And then, last but not least, you have these very interesting character trials that you can do if you have the unlocked character, and you can get one focus supply card per each of these modes. Character trials, but they're called stress tests because they're gonna stress the F out of you. I'll tell you that. They are actually not easy to do if you're a beginner. Like, you will need to get to like the end game to actually have a character strong enough to do them. Of course, the whole point is using that one specific character, but you have to use your own character. You don't get a trial mode. And after you complete the 7 floors with that one character, you get one focus supply card. But again, this isn't really beginner friendly because it's not easy to do. And you can also get one focus supply card, or I'm sorry, that's what they were called back in the days. You can, where is it? From the Battle Pass Arsenal, you can get one equipment supply card per patch, which I know is not a lot, but I have to mention it. And sometimes they give us, 5 supply cards, whether it's for the character or the equipment banner, but that's not every patch, and it is 5 pulls through a login event, which is not a lot, but I'll take 5 over nothing, right? So, to be honest, that was everything I had to mention. I hope the guide was clear. My advice: do Abyss and do Elysian Realm. Put in effort in not just doing Elysian Realm, the limited time event, but also do the story itself. Elysian Realm story is, considered part of the main story. So when you're doing the main story, you will access bonus rewards for doing the story, of course. But it will take you a while to get to Elysian Realm. To be honest, make sure to enjoy the game and not stress yourself out. I would suggest, if you don't have a lot of free time, log in twice a week so you can do Abyss at least. Remember, first rotation Monday through Wednesday, second rotation Friday through Sunday. When it comes to pulling, I always say prioritize newer characters. From next patch, the battle pass is getting a revamp, and from now on they will be removing the crystallum, which was limited to a specific battle pass season. From now on, we'll get one crystallum until literally EOS, and they'll add a permanent battle pass shop where they'll add characters over time, and they're already going to add Senadina, who's only a year old. Senadina was our first part 2 character, and she's already getting added to the permanent battle pass, so that's why I always suggest targeting newer characters. The newer the better. And avoid advanced banner. Do not spend your crystals on standard banner ever. Equipment supply, make sure that you're pulling on the right equipment supply, because there's usually multiple. Make sure that it matches the S rank character that you want to pull for. Another thing, if you want to spend, the battle pass is not for crystals, obviously. The monthly card, I think, gives you like 90 per day or 60. It gives you 60 per day, and for every 15 days that you log in, you get additional 500 crystals. So if you do buy the monthly card and you want to get bonus 1,000 crystals, you have to log in all those 30 days that you have the monthly card active, because if you miss out even one day, like I did, you can't claim your 500 crystals, which is such a lame thing to do, but whatever. And when it comes to actually spending in the shop, if you're willing to spend money for a character, I suggest buying B-chips instead of crystals. The conversion rate is very awful, because one crystal is, one pull is 280 crystals, and it's awful. Like, for $100, you only get like 28 pulls. It's really bad with B-chips. You can use those to buy bundles. Whenever a new character comes out, they always come with their own bundles. Like, even if it's not a new character, just whenever a new character banner comes out, they come with their own bundles that you can purchase with B-chips. And they are, like, the conversion rate is actually better. But remember that B-chips cannot be converted into crystals. B-chips is a special paid currency that you can only spend to buy the battle pass, skins, or bundles, and you cannot use it to convert it into crystals. So that was it from me. I hope the video was explained well. I hope it helps someone out. I'm sorry if it's really long. I've wanted to do this for a while, and I am really glad that I was able to find the time to do it. I hope all of you are doing well. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if it helped you out, consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment, turning on post notifications. It means a lot to me, and it's the reason why I keep going. I hope all of you are doing fine. I wish you the best of luck in whatever you're doing, and I will see you next time with, I think, a PGR video. Okay, bye bye!